Welcome to Lover Scholar, where every episode drops you straight into someone else's life. Enjoy the story and subscribe. I'm a washed-up idol, broke, blacklisted, and one tabloid away from total obscurity, so when I'm paid to play billionaire Damien Lancaster's boyfriend, I take the deal. Now the whole city thinks I seduced him and ruined his perfect love story, but no one knows I'm just the help. People used to scream when I walked into a room. Now they squint, pause, and say, "Wait, weren't you in that one boy band? The one with the rooftop breakup video?" Yes, I was. I was Noah Quinn, the least popular member of Eclipse, a 5-member idol group cobbled together by a shady entertainment agency and manufactured dreams. My nickname was The Visual, which is just industry speak for you're not getting solo lines, so pout and look pretty, sweetheart. Our lead singer got a reality show. The main dancer started a fashion line. I got, drumroll please, a viral clip of me falling off stage mid-hair flip and crying on live TV because my mic was off again. The group disbanded in flames and NDAs. I tried acting next. And honestly, I wasn't bad. But the industry prefers obedient little dolls and I was a bit too mouthy. The final nail in my career coffin? I called a powerful drama director a lecherous prune after he cornered me in a stairwell. Slapped him with a flip-flop. Someone live-streamed it. He cried. I trended. Not in a good way. Anyway, long story short, I'm broke, blacklisted, and one phone call away from begging my mother to let me move back into her condo where she currently lives with her 7th husband who thinks I'm too femme to be masculine. I can't even tell if he's shading me or straight up homophobic. So when my phone rang with an unknown number and an overworked voice, grumbling like corporate zombies said, "Mr. Quinn, Mr. Lancaster would like to hire you." My first thought was, it's a sugar daddy thing. I mean, it sounds like a sugar daddy thing. And I've gotten those offers before, some of them come with yacht emojis. Apparently it wasn't. The address they sent me? Lancaster Tower. 87 floors of money and marble right in the heart of downtown. The kind of building that doesn't have a front desk because it assumes you already know where you're going. I didn't. But I bluffed. I wore my best knockoff silk shirt and dramatic sunglasses. Rehearsed my "I'm not for sale unless the price is good" face in the mirrored elevator. And then the doors opened. And he was there. Damien Lancaster. I'd seen him on magazine covers. Power lists. That one viral airport shot where he looked like a stock photo of CEO in crisis. But in person? Let's just say God his favorites. Damien looked like the villain in a high-budget perfume ad. Sharp cheekbones. Hair slicked back like he threatened it into submission. A gray 3-piece suit that cost more than my last apartment, fitted like it was stitched onto him by a silent Parisian tailor who drinks blood. He was the kind of rich where he doesn't need social media because other people run fan pages for his bone structure. I'd seen him on business magazine covers and once, memorably, in a suit so tight it trended. His eyes were the kind you can't hold for too long, too pale, too direct, like he already knows your browsing history. He stood behind a glass desk with not a speck of dust on it. I stood there wondering if he owned a vacuum made of gold. "Mr. Quinn," he said, voice low and flat. "Thank you for coming." "I had nothing better to do," I replied sweetly. He gestured to the seat across from him. I sat. His assistant stood nearby, mid-30s, tired in the bones, holding a clipboard and a tablet and what I'm pretty sure was a reusable anxiety inhaler. "Tyler Reese," the assistant said, handing me a document. "I'm the one keeping this disaster running." "Pleasure," I said, signing the NDA without reading it. If it was a trap, it better be. "Expensive." Then Damien said it. "I'd like to hire you to pretend to be my lover." I blinked. "Like, publicly? Or is this a daddy needs cuddles situation or for tax purposes?" "Publicly," he said, perfectly unfazed. I leaned back in the chair, tilted my head, and gave him my most disinterested pretty face. "Let me guess. Your family wants you to marry. You're trying to inherit something. Or, oh wait, your homophobic grandfather won't die unless he thinks you're gay and fulfilled." He paused and shook his head. "So, media appearances, social events, that kind of thing?" "Yes. I need someone who can act." I snorted and leaned forward until our faces were mere inches apart. "I can act circles around those pretty little web drama boys." "Good. I want someone believable. Convincing. A little scandalous." He paused, adjusted his cufflinks, then added, "The goal is to make someone jealous. My childhood friend." Ah, the plot thickens. It always does. They always say childhood friend like it's not code for unrequited crush who probably has a boyfriend and a dog now. I smirked and crossed one leg over the other. "Let me guess," I said. You want me to drape myself across your lap at brunch so he finally realizes he's madly in love with you. Damien gave the barest nod. Precisely. I leaned back, crossed my legs, and studied him. That's ridiculous, I said. I charge extra for that. I'm willing to arrange that. And you're choosing me to play your kept boyfriend. Not, say, a porn star with a skincare line or an influencer with abs. He met my gaze without flinching. I want someone real. With bite and allure. With eyes that say I dare you to love me. I stared at him. That's uncomfortably specific. He handed me a folder. Inside, a full PR schedule, salary figures, outfit guidelines, and bless his icy heart photo concepts. You'd attend 5 events minimum. Wear the outfits I've selected. Hold my hand. Whisper things at gala tables. Flirt in front of the press. And occasionally play up the tension. Tension? I raised a brow. You'll make it look like we might break up any second. But also that I'd kill for you. Oh, so deranged codependency. Got it. I flipped to the payment page. My jaw twitched. The number on that check had more zeros than the viewers of my last drama. I was so broke, I'd once eaten instant noodles using a hair clip as chopsticks. I smiled. So when do we start, baby? In the elevator down, the assistant Tyler sighed heavily and rubbed his temples. Look, he said, voice somewhere between Big Brother and burnt-out camp counselor. You seem like a good enough guy. But this whole fake relationship thing? It's not sustainable. He's intense. Intense how? He names his pens. He schedules his emotional breakdowns. He once fired a photographer for cropping out his cufflinks. Wow, I said. Do you want to fake date me instead? God, no. Rude. Tyler rolled his eyes and mashed the elevator button again like it personally offended him. Just don't fall for him. He's cold, rich, and way too good at lying. I grinned. Then we'll get along just fine. The thing about pretending to be someone's lover is that it's a lot like method acting. Except your audience is the entire internet, and if you mess up, you don't just lose your job. You trend for the wrong reason, and your ex-idol group's fanbase starts posting your worst dance clips in 4K. Not that I'm bitter. Okay, I am. But I look amazing in slow motion, even when I fall. Damien's team didn't waste time. Our debut as a couple was scheduled for the following night, at the Argent Ball. A charity gala where old money came to breed and newer money came to pretend they didn't know what TikTok was. Tyler sent me a prep packet the size of a novella. Event itinerary. Posing angles. Wine brand cheat sheet. Emergency safe word, it was olives. Which felt somehow both fitting and completely unhelpful. He also included wardrobe notes. That's how I ended up in a shirt so sheer I could see my own regrets through it. You look like a slutty Christmas ornament, Tyler muttered during the first fitting. Then his face shot up in fear like he couldn't believe he had said that out loud. Please don't tell Mr. Lancaster I said that. I smiled. It's our little secret. If fame taught me anything, it's how to make an entrance. And tonight I needed one. The Argent Ball was old money's mating dance. Picture this. A grand ballroom glowing with chandeliers like frozen waterfalls. Every corner perfumed with something floral and expensive. And servers gliding silently with champagne flutes like they were born holding crystals. I stepped out of the black car, one heel down first, then the other, in a custom-fitted sheer black shirt that caught the light and left very little to the imagination. A matching velvet suit jacket, slim pants, and diamond stud earring in one ear just to remind people. Noah Quinn is still very, very pretty. 2 paparazzi gasped. Someone dropped a flashbulb. Good. Inside, I was greeted by Damien's assistant, Tyler Reese, clipboard in hand, Bluetooth earpiece in place, and face fixed in the expression of a man trying not to strangle anyone important tonight. Mr. Quinn, he said crisply, giving me the briefest once-over. You're on time. Color me shocked. Ah, you're warming up to me already? I replied, offering him a wink. I'm warming up to keeping my job, he muttered. Despite his tone, Tyler was professional to a fault. Straight posture, polished shoes, always 3 steps ahead of chaos. He handed me a small black envelope. Inside is your entry pass, the seating chart, and your talking points. Mr. Lancaster will meet you at the main fountain in 5 minutes. Remember the arm cues. Arm cues. Right hand for protective. Left hand for flirty. 2-finger grip if you're pretending to be distant but still possessive. This sounds suspiciously like choreography. You were in a boy band, Mr. Quinn. I assumed you'd keep up. Touché. Damien was waiting at the fountain, just like the plan said. And God, he looked not beautiful, lethal. He wore a tailored dark navy tuxedo with lapels sharp enough to cut my last paycheck. His hair was slicked back with the faintest rebellious wave at the temple. He wasn't smiling, but he didn't need to. He looked like the ending of a noir film, money, secrets, and maybe a body in the boot. The moment he saw me, something subtle shifted in his posture. He straightened. His eyes scanned me from head to toe, slowly, deliberately, and landed somewhere around my collarbone. He didn't blink. You wore it, he said softly. You paid for it, I said. I still wasn't prepared. His voice was low, almost private, like we weren't standing 3 feet from high society's biggest gossip pit. He offered me his arm. Shall we? Only if you promise to look like you're dangerously in love with me. I don't have to act that part, he murmured under his breath. I pretended not to hear that. The ballroom was a sea of diamonds and judgment. As we entered, heads turned. I heard whispers, some curious, some cruel. Cameras flashed. Damien leaned in and placed his hand on the small of my back like it was second nature. Too much? I asked, leaning into his touch. Not enough, he said quietly. It wasn't in the script, but he let his fingers linger. I didn't pull away. We made our way through the crowd, stopping at designated photo points. Damien answered questions with the efficiency of a man who hated small talk. I smiled, laughed on cue, and even kissed his cheek once. His ears turned red. That's when he arrived. Adrian Black. Soft as a spring breeze. Waves of golden brown hair, a suit in the palest slate blue, and eyes that practically whispered, I write handwritten letters and donate anonymously. He was the embodiment of every bittersweet first love subplot in every web drama ever made. He walked up to Damien and gave him a warm, restrained hug. You came, he said, voice quiet and sincere. Of course I did, Damien replied. They stood close, not touching, but close. Their history buzzed between them like electricity. I was the third wheel in a story older than my last career. I smiled. Not bitterly. Just accurately. Adrian turned to me and offered a hand. You must be Noah. It's lovely to finally meet you. Likewise, I said, taking his hand. I've heard so much. I hope only the good parts. Well, that would be boring. He laughed softly like I charmed him. He had the kind of face, the one you can't dislike. Even if you should. But I didn't feel threatened. Not really. If anything, I felt like the antagonist. The villain introduced in episode 4 to drive a wedge between the hero and his beloved. Adrian was soft edges. I was sharp lines. He wrote poetry. I posted thirst traps. He looked like he belonged next to Damien. I looked like I'd stolen the invitation and seduced the air for kicks. Still, I played my role. During dinner, I leaned close to Damien, brushed crumbs off his lapel. Whispered naughty things between courses purely for show. The wine's not the only thing full-bodied tonight, baby. He choked on his drink. Tyler, from across the table, did not look amused. Later, as we posed for a press photo, Damien's fingers brushed against mine again. Not possessive. Just there. Warm. Intentional. I glanced at him, expecting the usual cool mask. But he was looking at me. Not smiling. Just watching. Closely. Hungrily. I didn't know what to do with that. So I did what I always did, played the part. I leaned in and whispered against his jaw. You're dangerously good at this. His breath caught. Just for a second. I told you. I'm not pretending. The night ended with us trending. Hashtag Damili. Hashtag sheer scandal. Hashtag Noah Quinn is back. Hashtag Adrian deserves better. The internet was on fire. Half thought I was a paid escort. The other half wanted me to step on them. Someone edited me and Damien into a fake wedding poster. I scrolled through all of it in the car ride home while Damien sat beside me, silently undoing his cufflinks with deliberate grace. When we arrived, he turned to me, eyes soft in the darkness. You were perfect. I always am. Good night, Noah. Try not to dream about me too loudly. The neighbors might complain. He didn't reply. Just watched me walk into the building like I was something rare and vanishing. I told myself it didn't mean anything. Because it couldn't. Because I was the paid villain in someone else's love story. And villains don't get happy endings. There are 3 kinds of intimacy. The first is physical, hands on hips, lips on throats, knees bumping under a dinner table. The second is public, matching watches, practiced laughter, the illusion of love polished for camera flashes. The third? The worst kind? Private intimacy. The kind that happens in empty rooms. In pauses. In the space between words you weren't supposed to say. That's the kind Damien Lancaster specializes in. 2 days after the gala, I arrived at his penthouse for a scheduled candid photo shoot, just something to make our relationship look more organic. Whatever the hell that means. Apparently, Instagram can detect manufactured longing now. Tyler met me at the door, looking like someone who sleeps in a Google Calendar. We're shooting on the upper balcony, he said, stepping aside. Minimal press. Photographers vetted. Remember, you're the soft but seductive one. Keep it PG flirty, not TMZ filthy. So, no licking? He didn't answer. Just handed me a green juice that tasted like grass and guilt. The elevator ride up was quiet except for the little voice in my head whispering. You're enjoying this too much. Shut up, I told it. I'm just a good actor. Damien was waiting upstairs. This time, no suit. No tie. Just a black turtleneck and gray slacks, sleeves pushed up, barefoot on marble like he'd walked out of an art house film and into my unresolved trauma. He was setting out coffee on a small patio table back to me. When he turned, his face lit up, not dramatically. Just slightly. Enough to make my stomach tighten like I'd missed a cue. You're early, he said. You're barefoot. It's my house. Bold move in front of a former idol. I might start projecting. He huffed a quiet laugh, and I swear his whole posture softened. We did the shoot. Light breakfast. 2 chairs. Golden hour bleeding in from the skyline behind us. At first, it was stiff, me pretending to butter toast while looking longingly at his ear. Then he touched my wrist. And kept it there. Just kept it. Casual. Warm. His thumb moved, circling lightly over the bone. No direction. No cue. I didn't move. The photographer murmured something about natural chemistry. Damien didn't break eye contact once. At one point I laughed real, unfiltered, and he smiled like he was proud of himself. You're good at this, I said later after the last shot was taken. At pretending? At making me forget I am. He didn't reply. Just handed me a cup of coffee and watched me drink it like I might bite the rim. Afterward, we sat alone on the balcony while the crew packed up. Tyler had gone downstairs to make calls. For once, it was quiet. Damien stretched, long and lean, and turned to me. Do you like Adrian? My heart skipped. Not from the question. From the tone. He sounded guarded. I barely know him, I replied. He's beautiful. Polite. Graceful. The kind of guy whose houseplants never die. Damien nodded, looking away. I couldn't tell if that pleased him or not. You two have history, I said gently. He clearly cares about you. He does, Damien said. Then after a pause, but not like that. And yet here I am, glorified decoy, reporting for duty. He looked at me then. Really looked. You think you're a stand-in, aren't I? Another pause. Then. I didn't choose you because you're convenient, Noah. Why did you choose me? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Swallowed. You were the only one I remembered, he said. Whatever that meant, I didn't ask. Because just then, the doors opened and Adrian stepped out. He wore cream linen and a shy smile. He looked like he belonged in a soft-focused daydream, arms full of books and cinnamon tea. Sorry, he said. I knocked. Tyler let me up. Of course, Damien said, standing. I stayed seated. Adrian gave me a careful smile, then turned to Damien. I brought that sheet music you left at the studio, and his voice dropped. The photo, from our trip to Kyoto. Oh, right. That kind of history. Damien took the envelope from him, fingers brushing. Nothing scandalous. Nothing intentional. But the air shifted anyway. Adrian turned back to me. You're very good at this, he said softly. The pretending. I almost believed you two were, well, we're professionals, I said with a shrug. Still, he said, it must be hard. Playing a part when the person you're acting with has feelings for someone else. I smiled. Small. Hollow. Story of my life, sweetheart. He touched my shoulder lightly as he passed, like he was comforting a ghost. Damien didn't say anything. That night, I opened my phone and found a new tab trending. Hashtag Pornoa. Hashtag stand-in-lover. Hashtag Adrian and Damien forever. Someone had clipped a shot of the three of us on the balcony and added a slow zoom on my face with the caption, You can see the heartbreak. The funny thing was I wasn't heartbroken. Not yet. But give me time. I'm a very good actor. When I signed on to play Damien Lancaster's lover, I thought I was signing up for performance art. You know, hand-holding, champagne kisses, suggestive smirks at overpriced restaurants. Scandalite. 1 calorie. I didn't expect this. Not the late-night phone calls about just reviewing PR angles that turned into 2 a.m. pillow talk. Not the photo shoot requests for intimate domesticity that had me wearing his shirts and brewing his coffee like we shared more than a contract. And definitely not the look he gave me last night when I asked if Adrian was visiting again. That unreadable, cornered look. Like I'd caught him lying and he didn't even know what the truth was anymore. Tyler called the next morning. "Are you available for an emergency dinner event tonight? Mr. Lancaster needs damage control." "What's on fire?" "Public opinion. There's a rumor you two broke up. Something about a delicate love triangle and Damien running back to Adrian with a mixtape. Does anyone even make mixtapes anymore? The fan edits are brutal. One girl made a montage of Adrian and Damien over the Titanic soundtrack. You drown at the end. Dramatic. I love it. I hate this job." The dinner was at Aquila, one of those restaurants where the cutlery costs more than my rent and the waiters speak exclusively in wine pairings and thinly veiled judgment. I wore black again. This time silk. Damien met me outside in a tailored maroon suit that looked like it belonged in a villain origin movie. Cameras were everywhere. The moment we stepped out of the car, he reached for me. Not just to hold my hand. No. He pulled me in, wrapped an arm around my waist, and whispered into my hair. "Don't hold back tonight." And just like that, I forgot how to breathe. Dinner was scripted chaos. A casual table by the glass windows. Media invited under the guise of coincidentally being there. A well-lit corner perfect for paparazzi. We laughed. We toasted. I fed him a bite of scallops and he bit the fork while staring directly into my eyes. I nearly dropped my wine. "You all right?" he asked, voice low. "Peachy," I replied, voice tighter than my pants. Under the table, his knee brushed mine. Then stayed there. Later, on the car ride home, things got worse. We were alone in the back seat. City lights flickered past the tinted windows. Damien loosened his tie like it had personally offended him. I turned my face away, pretending to check my phone. "You don't like Adrian," he said suddenly. "I didn't say that. You don't have to. It's not about liking or not liking. I hesitated. He's the kind of person you write poems about. And you. I'm the person you write apology texts to at 2 a.m. He was quiet. Then, "That's not how I see you." I looked at him. Slowly. Carefully. "Then how do you see me?" He didn't answer. But his hand found mine between the seats. Not for show. Not for anyone. And that silence? That silence was a problem. Because for the first time, it didn't feel like acting. I went home. I told myself I needed space. I poured myself a drink, sat on the kitchen counter of my tiny apartment, and tried not to overthink the way he'd looked at me. That soft, dangerous stare. Like he was memorizing my mouth. My phone buzzed. Message from Damien. "You left your jacket. Come back." Then another. "Or let me come over." I didn't reply. I poured another drink. I didn't know what scared me more. That he was getting too good at pretending. Or that maybe. He wasn't pretending at all. They say when the tide turns against you, it happens fast. I always imagined it'd be poetic. One final scandal. A tearful close-up. Maybe me in the rain holding an umbrella I never open. Instead, it happened on a Wednesday over iced coffee and a headline that read, "Adrian Black, the one that got away?" And beneath it, a candid shot of Damien and Adrian laughing together outside a gallery. Perfectly lit like a rom-com poster. Not pictured. Me. My name trended an hour later. Hashtag Noah the placeholder. Hashtag Get Back with Adrian. Hashtag Green Tea Gay. Someone dug up my old Eclipse dance rehearsal footage where I fell twice and lip-synced offbeat. Someone else looped it under Adrian's harp recital with the caption, "This is what Damien gave up. For this." Charming. Tyler called while I was applying a face mask and pretending not to care. "Don't panic," he said. "Why would I panic?" I asked, smearing seaweed gel under my eyes. "Just because thousands of strangers are calling me an emotionally manipulative rebound? It'll pass. So does kidney failure. Doesn't mean it's fun." He sighed so hard I heard him take off his glasses. "Look, we've scheduled a public brunch. You and Damien." Press in the background. Smiling. No innuendo this time. "What about Adrian?" Silence. Then, "He'll be there too." Of course he would. I wore sunglasses the size of my student debt and an outfit that said I read the hate comments and I still slay. Damien was already there when I arrived. Sitting beside Adrian on the terrace of some overpriced garden cafe that served microscopic fruit and the illusion of inner peace. The moment he saw me, Damien stood up. His eyes, those cold, reserved CO eyes, went warm. Too warm. Like they'd been waiting. "You're late," he murmured, pulling out my chair. "You're early," I said, sliding into it. "I was worried you wouldn't come. I never miss a paid gig." He gave a soft laugh, one he didn't mean. I gave a smile, one I perfected years ago. Adrian passed me a mimosa. "They've already brought you into a few memes," he said gently. "I'm sorry. People can be cruel." I nodded. "Occupational hazard." He paused, tilted his head. "Still, it must hurt. Being in love with someone who's in love with someone else." I blinked. "Excuse me? I just mean," he smiled, warm and apologetic. "The public. They think Damien's heart never really left me." I looked over at Damien. He said nothing. He didn't deny it. He just looked away. That night, I sat in Damien's car in absolute silence while the city blurred outside the windows. I should have yelled. Should have walked away. Instead, I said, "Do you want me to quit?" He flinched. "No. You didn't defend me. You let him say that. You think I still love him? I think I was hired to make him jealous." Silence. "And you think it worked?" I didn't answer. His jaw flexed. His hand gripped the steering wheel tighter. "I didn't hire you to punish Adrian," he said at last. "Then why did you hire me?" "Because you were the only person who ever looked at me and saw something other than the family name." I froze. "What? You don't remember, do you?" he said, voice quiet. "But I remember you. Before you were famous. Before anyone knew your name." "What are you talking about?" "I was a fan, Noah. A real one. Back when Eclipse barely filled a mall stage. You smiled at me once after a performance. Called me cuter than your mic. I kept the t-shirt you signed that day." My brain stuttered. "That was 10 years ago. I never forgot." He looked at me, gaze too open, too raw. "You think this is pretend? But it was always real for me." And that's when I panicked. I laughed. Too sharp. Too loud. "So what? This whole thing was just one big fanboy fantasy come true?" "No. I mean, maybe at first. But it's not that anymore." "Then what is it?" He opened his mouth to answer. My phone buzzed. Incoming message, "Adrian." "Hey. I think we should talk." Not in front of him. I didn't reply. But I knew this was it, the moment I'd been waiting for. The part in the script where the fake lover realizes he was never meant to stay. And for once, I didn't feel clever. I felt like I'd just been dumped from a relationship I wasn't supposed to believe in. And somehow it still hurts. The thing about playing a part too well is, eventually you forget where the lines were drawn. Until someone rips the script out of your hands. I didn't go home. I walked. All the way from Damien's car to my tiny apartment, past late-night noodle stalls and glowing billboards, some of which still had my sheer shirt gala photo plastered across them. Damien. Fake love or falling for real? Noah Quinn. Trashy? Trendy or tragic? I should have laughed. Made a snarky post. Posted a thirst trap and captioned it, "Still hotter than your ex." Instead, I turned off my phone. For the first time in years. Tyler showed up the next morning. Not called. Not texted. Showed up. He stood in my doorway holding coffee and something that looked like legal documents with the solemnity of a man carrying an urn. "You're late," I muttered, still in pajamas and emotional self-pity. "You're trending for the third day in a row." I thought I'd bring caffeine and damage control. I took the coffee. He stepped inside like he'd done this before. "We have a situation." "We are the situation, Tyler." He sat down, folded his hands. No sarcasm, no sass, just steel. "Adrian gave an interview last night." "Of course he did." He said, and I quote, "Damien has always been kind, but lately he's confused. I just hope he realizes what really matters before it's too late." That sounds like a Hallmark villain doing emotional blackmail. It also sounds like he's baiting you. Successfully. Tyler handed me a tablet. On the screen, tweets, TikToks, Reddit threads. #FreeDamien. #NoahManipulates. #JusticeForAdrian. Someone even made a fan cam of Adrian crying during a piano piece over a slowed version of Driver's License. I mean, come on. This was supposed to be fake, I said quietly. Now I'm the villain in someone else's love story. Again. Tyler finally looked up. "You think Damien doesn't know the difference?" I stared at him. You think he's confused, he said. You think this was just fanboy delusion turned fantasy camp. But I've worked for that man for 6 years. I've seen him destroy billion-dollar deals with less emotion than he has when he texts you back in lowercase. He texts everyone in lowercase, not with emojis. Pause. He sends me memes, I said dumbly. Do they have hearts in them? I didn't answer. Tyler softened, just slightly. You think you're protecting him by walking away, but you're not. You're just letting Adrian write the ending. I showed up to Damien's place unannounced. It also sounds like he's baiting you. Successfully. Tyler handed me a tablet. On the screen, tweets, TikToks, Reddit threads. Hashtag free Damien. Hashtag Noah manipulates. Hashtag justice for Adrian. Someone even made a fan cam of Adrian crying during a piano piece over a slowed version of Driver's License. I mean, come on. This was supposed to be fake, I said quietly. Now I'm the villain in someone else's love story. Again. Tyler finally looked up. You think Damien doesn't know the difference? I stared at him. You think he's confused, he said. You think this was just fanboy delusion turned fantasy camp. But I've worked for that man for 6 years. I've seen him destroy billion-dollar deals with less emotion than he has when he texts you back in lowercase. He texts everyone in lowercase, not with emojis. Pause. He sends me memes, I said dumbly. Do they have hearts in them? I didn't answer. Tyler softened, just slightly. You think you're protecting him by walking away, but you're not. You're just letting Adrian write the ending. I showed up to Damien's place unannounced. Then stay, and be your lover? You already are. I stepped back, something inside me splintering. No, I'm not. I was hired to be your lover. I pulled the contract out of my pocket. The one Tyler gave me this morning. And this expires next month. He didn't look at it. He just looked at me. Then let me rewrite it. I didn't say yes. But I didn't leave either. There's nothing more dangerous than a man with a gentle voice and an army of sad-eyed fans. Adrian Blackhead both. The interview aired at 7 p.m. sharp. An exclusive naturally. Soft lighting. A cozy armchair. Adrian in a cream sweater and those delicate wire-rimmed glasses that say I read Murakami in original Japanese even if he doesn't. The host opened with a warm smile. We've all seen the headlines. You've been through a lot these past few weeks, Adrian. How are you holding up? Adrian gave a soft, fragile laugh and said the words that would haunt me for the rest of the week. I want Damien to be happy, even if it's not with me. Cue sniff. I dab. Twitter meltdown. I didn't want to watch the whole thing. I did anyway, because right after the tears came the knife. Do you feel like you've lost him for good? The host asked. I don't think I ever really had him, Adrian whispered. He latched onto someone else so quickly. It felt strategic. Almost like he was performing. Like they were performing. You mean Noah Quinn? A pause. A humble nod. I'm sure Noah is doing his best. But I know Damien. He's not the type to fall fast. I just hope he's not being taken advantage of. For clout, maybe. Publicity. Tyler called 2 minutes after the credits rolled. Don't panic. I'm not panicking, I said, already retweeting someone's meme of me edited into a snake emoji. Adrian's playing a long game. The public eats this stuff up. You're going to have to lay low for a few days. Maybe post something soft. Like a crying selfie with a quote about healing? God, no. Just be seen with a dog or something. But not Damien's. That would look too staged. This entire relationship is staged. Silence. Right, Tyler said, quieter. Of course. I didn't talk to Damien for 48 hours. Not because I was angry. Because I was confused. He hadn't commented. Not publicly. Not privately. Not even a meme. And I missed him. Stupidly. Pathetically. Like someone who didn't know this was a PR stunt. Like someone who had forgotten this was all pretend. So when Damien showed up outside my building in a black turtleneck and a trench coat like a gay vampire in mourning, I didn't know whether to scream or make out with him. You saw it, I said. He nodded. You haven't said anything. Because if I did, I wouldn't stop. He walked past me, straight into my apartment. I didn't stop him. He stood in my living room, looked around like it meant something, and then turned to me. Do you believe him? I don't know what I believe. Do you believe me? I don't even know what you are. That stopped him. He blinked. Something raw flickered behind his eyes. I'm yours. Oh, no. Oh no. He kissed me. Not a press kiss. Not a PR kiss. A real one. Hungry. Hot. Terrified. Like he was trying to devour the silence between us. Kissed him back like a fool. When we finally pulled apart, I didn't say anything. Because I knew what I'd say. I'd say, you don't get to kiss me like that and still have a contract with an expiration date. I'd say, don't make me fall in love with you if you're still mourning someone else. But I didn't say anything. I just stared at him, heart hammering in my chest like a traitor. And then the door buzzed. Tyler's voice came through, crisp and panicked. Don't open the door. Adrian's downstairs. And he's got a camera crew. I should have locked the door. Tyler's warning came exactly 10 seconds too late. By the time I reached the buzzer panel, Adrian was already in the elevator, flanked by a perfectly styled, candid camera crew and a woman in heels whispering press talking points. I opened the door anyway, because I'm dramatic, because I wanted to see how far he'd go. Adrian stood in my living room, eyes wide like he was the victim walking into a crime scene. Damien was still standing where I left him, lips red from kissing me, hair disheveled like a fan edit waiting to happen. If this had been scripted, I would have been proud. Noah, Adrian said, voice soft, I didn't come to fight. You brought a camera crew. They're here to document closure. Closure doesn't usually need a boom mic. Damien took a step forward. What are you doing here? Adrian turned to him, eyes glassy, mouth trembling. You said you needed time. You disappeared. I was worried. You gave an interview accusing Noah of manipulating me. I didn't name him. You didn't have to. I stood between them, caught in a scene I didn't audition for. Is this what I am to you, Adrian? I asked. A prop. No, he said, and he meant it. That was the worst part. I didn't think he'd really fall for you. That was when I froze. And Damien didn't. What did you say? Adrian looked at him. Genuinely confused, genuinely wounded. You said this was temporary. That you were just trying to move on. I lied. The air went dead. Damien turned to me, stepped toward me. I told you, this was never pretend for me. I laughed, quietly, because that was the only thing I had left. Then why didn't you tell me? Why did I find out from him? He didn't answer. Of course he didn't, because the cameras were still rolling. Tyler arrived 10 minutes later, murder in his eyes and a cease and desist in his hand. Adrian left with his crew, playing soft-spoken heartbreak like a Tony nominee. I never meant to hurt anyone, he said at the door. I didn't reply. The red carpet event was the next night. We were both scheduled to attend. I almost didn't go, but Tyler showed up again, this time with a suit in one hand and a sad-eyed golden retriever in the other. This is media rehab, he said. Smile, pet the dog, don't punch anyone. I've never punched anyone. You might start tonight. The carpet was a circus. Flashbulbs, screaming fans, gossip columnists licking their pens. I stepped out of the car first. People gasped. Whispers rippled like smoke. That's him. Noah Quinn. Did you hear what Adrian said? I bet he did seduce Damien. I smiled for the cameras anyway. Then Damien arrived. He looked like a villain turned tragic hero, black suit, no tie, eyes like a storm about to break. He walked straight to me, ignoring the press, ignoring the handlers. He stood in front of me and said, I terminated the contract. Silence. Excuse me. Yesterday, I told Tyler. It's over. And you decided now was a great time to tell me? Because now, he said, voice low and shaking, whatever happens between us, it's real. And then, in front of the cameras, in front of the internet, in front of Adrian watching from the VIP tent, he kissed me. Not a PR kiss. Not a hired boyfriend kiss. A real, full-bodied, world-ending kiss. I slapped him. Just once. Clean. Audible. You don't get to make that choice alone, I said. You don't get to rewrite the story without telling the other lead. And then I walked off the red carpet. Not out of shame. Not even out of anger. But because, for the first time since this whole damn charade began, I didn't know who I was anymore. A lover? A liar? A job? Or something else entirely? I checked out of the story before the ending was written. No dramatic breakup post. No emotional thread. I just disappeared. Rented a cabin 3 hours north. Brought the dog Tyler gave me as an emotional support stunt. And turned off my phone. I'd been pretending for so long. I didn't know how to exist without a camera trained on me. But I knew I didn't want to cry for clicks. On the third day of silence, I got a text. From Tyler. Tyler, you need to see this. Then a link. Then 5 more. The contract had been leaked. Our contract. The original version. Terms of engagement. Party A, Damien Lancaster. Agrees to compensate Party B, Noah Quinn, a monthly retainer of $55,000 to act as his romantic partner in public settings. Physical affection permitted if requested by Party A. Party B shall be given one safe word. Party A may ignore it for media continuity, but must provide emotional check-ins afterward. Party A is to remain emotionally unavailable. Party B will be advised not to form genuine attachments. Initial contract term, 90 days, renewable upon mutual dissatisfaction. The public exploded. Not just over the contract, but over the margins. Someone had leaked Damien's annotated copy. His handwriting. Cross this out. Remove this. He's not a prop. He gets a safe word? What the fuck is this? Tyler, rewrite this clause. I'm not hiring him, I'm asking. There was even a sticky note scanned and uploaded. He's not here for clout. Don't insult him. Twitter nearly caught fire. Hashtag Damien Defender. Hashtag Noah deserved better. Hashtag rewrite the contract but with kisses. Suddenly, I wasn't a manipulative gold digger anymore. I was wronged. A tragic soft boy hero. A fallen star with a guarded heart. Fan edits turned sentimental. Old Eclipse clips resurfaced with piano music and captions like, he was always the lead in someone's story. But none of that mattered, because I hadn't read the annotations. Until now. I called Tyler. He answered on the first ring. Where is he? Haven't left his apartment in 4 days. We had to reschedule a board meeting. The shareholders are convinced he's lovesick. He is, I said. Tyler paused. You saw the notes? Yeah. So, are you coming back? No. No? Not like this. I hung up, then packed my bag, and got in the car. I showed up at Damien's place unannounced again. This time, the security guard didn't ask questions. He just smiled. He's in the music room. Damien didn't hear me come in. He was at the piano again, wearing sweats and the hoodie I accidentally left on his couch 3 weeks ago. He looked up when he heard me. Stared. Didn't move. You're not supposed to be here, he said quietly. Neither are you, I replied. You've got meetings. Markets to manipulate. Fans to disappoint. I fired my publicist. Why? Because she told me to move on. He stood slowly, walked toward me like he was afraid I might vanish. Why are you here? Because I saw the contract. And? You rewrote it for me. I would have rewritten everything for you. My breath caught. Then? Why didn't you just tell me? I didn't want to manipulate you into staying. I wanted you to choose me. I just forgot how. He kissed me again. No cameras. No witnesses. No paycheck. And I kissed him back like I finally knew the lines to the part one was born to play. I used to think the only way to survive in this business was to keep your heart locked in a press kit. Clean, packaged, camera ready. Turns out hearts don't do press. They leak. They blush. They beg. Hashtag Final Take trended globally. Someone started a petition for a movie adaptation. Someone else made a remix of our press conference kiss and set it to a slowed-down remix of Toxic. Tyler tried to get it removed. Damien added it to his Spotify playlist. I got calls. New offers. Scripts I actually liked. But one thing mattered more than all of it. It was our 1-month not contract anniversary. Damien cooked. He said he wanted to try being domestic. He burned the salmon. I ordered takeout. We ate on the balcony in pajamas. Matching ones. His idea. I used to watch your videos over and over, he said. The ones no one else liked. The ones where you got too into the dancing. You mean the ones where I looked like I was summoning a demon through Jez's hands? Exactly those. He passed me a small envelope. Inside, a new contract, written in Sharpie. Terms of agreement. No pretending. No expiration dates. Kisses required. Safe word still valid. Real feelings mandatory. Renewal every time you smile like you forgot we're in public. I looked up. Are you proposing? I'm trying to lock you down before someone offers you a dating show. Too late. Netflix already called. Tell them you're taken. So I did. I kissed him. Messy. Too long. The take they'd cut from a film for being too real. And just like that, the credits rolled. Epilogue. Tyler got a raise and a therapist. Adrian got a podcast. The leaked annotations were turned into a coffee table book titled, He's Not a Prop, a Love Story. And me? I got everything I thought I didn't deserve. A comeback. A headline that read, Noah Quinn didn't fall from grace. He jumped into love. And Damien? Safe word still valid. Real feelings mandatory. Renewal every time you smile like you forgot we're in public. I looked up. Are you proposing? I'm trying to lock you down before someone offers you a dating show. Too late. Netflix already called. Tell them you're taken. So I did. I kissed him. Messy. Too long. The take they'd cut from a film for being too real. And just like that, the credits rolled. Epilogue. Tyler got a raise and a therapist. Adrian got a podcast. The leaked annotations were turned into a coffee table book titled, He's Not a Prop, a Love Story. And me? I got everything I thought I didn't deserve. A comeback. A headline that read, Noah Quinn didn't fall from grace. He jumped into love. And Damien?